Hi, this is Christy Matthews with ChristyMatthewsOnline.com and ChristyJMatthews.com. Hope you're having a great day. And this is a subject that you and I have heard so much about, and that is the topic of uncertainty. And so today's question, and hopefully I can provide a different answer to you, is how to manage uncertainty by training it like a muscle. And I want to give you, when I heard this analogy, I thought, wow, this just simplifies things so much. Because as I've gone through my entrepreneurial journey, and perhaps you as well, uncertainty has always been presented as something we need to rid ourselves of. And I just have come to the conclusion, being nearly 30 years in as an entrepreneur, uncertainty raises its ugly little head all the time. It's really how we deal with uncertainty and if we're able to move beyond it. A great quote is part of the reason people don't take the leap is because it requires stepping outside of your zone of certainty. But no one ever made their dreams come true by being within their zone of certainty. I hope I got that quote right. It's by Banayan. See, the problem that people have with dealing with uncertainty in entrepreneurship is that entrepreneurship is about uncertainty. That is it in a nutshell. And key people know this, that the key people such as those who've taken the leap of faith, like Bill Gates, Drew Houston, Bill Gates of Microsoft, Drew Houston of Dropbox, and you name it, all of them had to deal with the feelings of uncertainty. And the difference between an employee and an entrepreneur is that the entrepreneur takes on the uncertainty. So the employee can come to work and feel certain about the things that they need to be doing. Isn't that an interesting twist on things? So what happens is that key people understand that you and I have not been born with uncertainty. It is something that we've developed over time. And just as being a normal human being, uncertainty, fear, shame, all of these types of emotions are things that you and I deal with. It's just part of being a human. It's what we do, how we behave, and how we train ourselves to deal with those emotions are what makes the difference. So if we take uncertainty and treat it as a muscle, if you will, as a muscle you would train in the gym, maybe think about it this way. And if when you do start training, when you train a muscle, doesn't your muscle change over time? Think of it as a bicep. It might be flabby. Your skin might be flabby. There's no muscle tone there whatsoever when you get started. But then you go ahead and you start grabbing the dumbbells and you start working with them. And you start seeing a little bit change in the definition. Now, most people, I'm not going to say there aren't people who have done this. You go to the gym. The worst thing to do is to go ahead and you want to start developing undeveloped biceps, right? And that's going and grabbing a weight class that is so beyond your means, like a 60-pound dumbbell, and start, working your muscles. You're going to get hurt, and you probably won't go back and do it again. So the proper way to train a muscle, excuse me, is that you want to start off small, right? You want to start off maybe with the 2-pound dumbbells and start working the muscle, right? And then you work up to 4 pounds, 5 pounds. Then you get to 10 pounds. And then you really start seeing change happen. And then you start working into different weight classes. And so if you can think of uncertainty as the way you would train a muscle, uncertainty becomes manageable. You're not going to get rid of it, just like you'll never get rid of sore muscles when you continue to build yourself, right? So when you feel the pain, within your building your muscle of uncertainty as you are when you're working out in the gym, then you know that you're working within a weight class. And that is awesome. That means you're making progress. And when you've taken on too much and you've pulled a muscle, what do you do? Do you go ahead and still work through the pain? No, because we have learned that when you back off just a little bit, maybe lower down the weights, but still continue to work, okay? And still work through it and then eventually work yourself back up. That is how you recover from a pulled muscle or an injured muscle. And it's the same way that we recover from when we take on too much uncertainty. You know that you're taking on too much uncertainty when you're waking up in panic and you just can't sleep and you have a lot of anxiety. That's when you need to start backing off a little bit and start trying to figure out, look at the gap of where you have the panic and where you felt more certain about what you're doing, and start filling the gaps in between so that you continue to get the right weight and develop that muscle. Because if you're having panic, because you've taken on too much too soon. Another way to deal with uncertainty, as you would, and also treating uncertainty as fear, because uncertainty is fear, fear is uncertainty. Wouldn't you agree? So quite frankly, just agree with it. Agree with the fear. And it is one way, just like building muscles, to work with the psyche, those voices that are talking to you, that are telling you that maybe you can't do this, whatever the case is. Acknowledge it. Agree with the fear. Do a little jujitsu move, a little reverse psychology on yourself, and say, you know what? It is scary. It is scary for any normal person to be afraid of that. And allow your body just to relax itself and ungrip yourself from the uncertainty and the fear. It's a very powerful move, a psychological move, and something to put into your toolbox when you're dealing with uncertainty. So when you're dealing with uncertainty, remember that there's always a bigger reason why you're on your journey, because otherwise you wouldn't be doing it. So when you're starting to have the feelings that, maybe this just isn't right, I'm getting ready to quit, whatever the case is, just remember that the journey that you started off on is not about you. It was something that's much bigger than you. And be mindful of that, because believe it or not, working through uncertainty is also being very courageous. Remember, it's like what I said, it's how you deal with it. Build it up like a muscle, and then you'll be able to manage it much, much better. Because remember that there is something bigger out there that you're working for, and that's what you want to be mindful of. So I hope that this tip helped you out. It certainly was a different way for me to unpack the idea of uncertainty, and made me feel much more comfortable with the fact that I know we can't rid ourselves of uncertainty. It's actually quite a healthy thing to have. It's just a matter of how we deal with it. So folks, if you got some great insight from this today, I really appreciate you giving me a thumbs up and let me know by leaving a comment. Really appreciate that. And also feel free to visit one of my websites. Both of them are chock full of free resources that may be able to help you along with your entrepreneurial journey. And until next time, my friends, I'll see you on the next video. Bye now.